So the Safe City Project is an initiative that Personhood Alliance has been involved in for a number of years. Essentially, after 50 years plus of the pro-life movement having a focus on centralized partisan politics and frankly being ineffective at ending abortion, we advocate returning to local politics and local ministry, particularly through the church. Safe City Project of Personhood Alliance is aimed at being both strategic and principled. So it's no compromise, no exceptions. It doesn't devalue any human being to protect another, but at the same time, the goal is to be strategic and effective. And we think the best way to do that is to start with a local, decentralized approach. So quite simply, what the Safe City Project is we provide the tools for you to get your city or your county government to enact a safe city resolution. Well, that's step one, where you recognize the person of the unborn and commit to do everything you can to protect unborn children in your jurisdiction. And then step two is actually where the church get engaged, and we equip and we provide tools and resources for churches, individuals, families to actually make your city a safe city. So adoption, foster care, getting involved in pro-life ministry in your community, taking care of widows and orphans. And then step three, once you've built a culture of life in your local community, is to begin to enact personhood legislation, ordinances, things like that at the state and local level that have teeth. And once you've built that local support, then it's not a politician trying to stand on his own where he either is compromising or is persecuted, but the support at the local level will both hold them accountable and also give them the backing they need to stand up to state and federal courts when they push back against them.
Once I understood the idea of what it means to be a safe city for the preborn, I took an article that talks about safe city for the preborn and I sent it to our mayor. I had a little bit of a relationship with our mayor in Pearl, Mississippi, and I just, through social media, sent him the information and I said, man, what do you think about us doing this in Pearl, Mississippi? And he sent back a positive message that he thought that was a good thing. So I said, well, let's get together and talk about it. We got together and I laid out the idea. I showed him the resolution, the Safe City for the Preborn resolution, and I tried to help him understand what it says and what we're looking to do as a city. That was something that he desired to do. He was very favorable. He seemed to be a man that feared the Lord. So from that point on, it was in the mayor's hands, and he actually did it. He took it before the city council, he explained it, and he was actually the one that got the resolution passed. Now, once the resolution was passed, the next city council meeting, a couple of weeks later, I actually gathered together a bunch of pastors, a bunch of citizens that are in the city of Pearl. And at that meeting, we took time to address our mayor and our city council and thank them for what they did in passing that resolution. Took some time to tell them that we were behind them, that if there was any kind of pushback that came from higher authorities, that we as the people and pastors and citizens in Pearl were behind them, and we took some time to pray for them. And I think that really set the stage for what was to come with other cities passing this resolution. Once the resolution was passed in Pearl, Mississippi, we began to use that to go to other cities and say, look at what Pearl has done. The way we got in contact with them was just people that I know that care about this issue of ending abortion. I began to talk with them about any connection that they have with mayors or city council members in their city, and just asked them to connect me with them. And so the first city that this happened with was Brandon, Mississippi, and they ended up passing that resolution. And then we did the same thing again in Brandon. We gathered together pastors and citizens from Brandon this time. We gathered together at the next city council meeting and we made a big deal about it. And we prayed for the mayor, prayed for the city council. From the publicity of those two cities passing it, we actually had somebody that was on the city council from New Albany, Mississippi, actually contacted Pearl and asked them what they had to do to go through the same process and get this resolution passed in New Albany, Mississippi. So they actually wanted that on their own. So from that point, it's just been a matter of finding those connections, talking to mayors, talking to city council members, and asking them, is this something that they're willing to do? And the more cities that have been added on as passing this resolution, it's strengthened the argument more and more for other cities not to be left out. As far as what other people can do to get their city to pass this resolution and become a safe city for the preborn, here's what I would encourage you to do. One, get to know that resolution, print it out, read it, understand it, and then from that point, as many cities as you have connections, many little towns, get connected to a council member or mayor, show them the other cities that have done this and ask them if they'd be willing to come along and do this as well, and help them to understand the big impact that can happen, that if city after city after city does this in Mississippi, then it sends a message to our state officials that we're tired of waiting for the federal government to do something. We want to do something as a state government and end abortion in our land.